What's up, you guys? This is Thomas McElroy, and you're listening to The Break It Down Show.
Just play some good music.
Hey, let's get
Never
started.
mind.
We are in the Berkeley apartment of the lovely Leah Tysse.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to be here.
Welcome.
Man.
Yeah, man.
We're excited about your show at the Empress Theatre in Vallejo
Thank you.
on a number of levels.
Cool.
So, for our listeners, Leah is a singer and a tremendous singer and a very busy singer. And you've done quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been very fortunate here in the Bay Area.
So, tell us about what you're doing at the Empress Theatre in Vallejo.
This is a show. I try on a regular basis to do a big show that benefits someone. Often it's Glide Memorial in San Francisco, which I think a lot of people are familiar with. And they have, I've been singing there for 16 years. And this show will benefit the programs there, which help people who are in need, whether they need food, whether they need job training, drug recovery. There's a full service health clinic. There's so many things that, programs there that need funding. So this show will benefit that, and it will be a showcase type of show for my band. We do a lot of different types of shows, many, club gigs, but this one will be a bigger band and a more compact show that's, the type that you would see in a theater as opposed to a nightclub.
Okay. Well, the thing about that theater is it's recently refurbished.
Yeah, it's
everybody who doesn't
gorgeous.
know. It is. It's beautiful in there. The sound system's new. Mm-hmm. It sounds terrific in there.
Yes.
It's a great venue to highlight your band and your singing. And let me give you the event details. It's the Empress Theatre, by the way, is at 330 Virginia Street in Vallejo. And there's plenty of parking there. The tickets are $13 or $30.
It ranges. It depends on where you're sitting.
Okay.
And if you buy them in advance or at the door.
And that happens on Saturday, March 21st at 8 p.m.
Yes.
So, yeah. Tell us who's in the band. Anybody we'd know?
The people I can reveal to you at this moment
Oh, I see.
are Sandra Manning.
Oh, I love Sandra Manning.
Yes. She will be playing keys and...
And playing the mess out of them.
oh, my God. Yes. Just stupid good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. So, all these people that I'm fortunate to play with have amazing resumes.
Yeah. I mean, she was in the Hammer band that had 50 Million Dancers when Hammer was the biggest tour in the universe. Mm-hmm. She's played with Tony. She played with Prince.
She's also integral in Lettucey's career. She and Lettucey wrote a lot of her original material, I should say her first albums together, and Sandra produced along with Lettucey. So she's a big part of that project.
And she's just lovely.
And she is lovely.
Who else?
My
Who else can you
homegirl.
wow, right on.
Yeah.
Who else can you review?
So also playing with me that night and many nights is Aaron Green.
All right.
He's a drummer. He lives in Berkeley as well, so shout out to that. He has an amazing resume as well, and has played with Guapole and all kinds. He's actually just next week going on a pretty amazing tour with En Vogue and a whole list of bands that are doing. I'm not sure what it is with the festival, but anyway, he is one of the happiest people you'll ever meet, and his energy to me is amazing, and he's just a killer drummer.
Right on.
Yeah. Was that too long of a description?
No.
No, not at all. We're okay with that.
But he's amazing drummer, and just drummers are in the back, but you can feel his energy the whole time and his presence. So
Right on.
I like to surround myself with people like that.
Yeah.
It inspires me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Who else? Anybody else?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Juan Escovedo.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
He will be joining us. I don't usually use a percussionist, but I've been working with the Escovedos a lot in the past couple of years.
Yes, you have.
And Juan and Peter Michael have really encouraged me to play percussion when I sing with them.
I've seen you with percussion instruments in your hands at Warriors games.
At Warriors game, yeah.
So it's rubbing off.
Yes. Yeah, Juan is funny. Every once in a while, I'll be like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You want to play the congas while I'm gone? They're like, okay. I'm not sure if everyone else wants to hear that.
Fill in for Juan Escobedo on the congas while he's out.
It'll be like,
come back fast.
That's what you heard out of me.
He's bad.
But yeah, no, he's
such a great dude too.
He is. Yeah, the whole family is just, they have made me feel like part of the family. And so it's really exciting to have him and have some percussion and on my show, which I'd never done. So.
Yeah. Well, he's always an enhancement. I mean, let's face it. If it was like, yeah, man, it's just me and I'm going to play the didgeridoo and there's going to be 4 people there and we're going to sit around. And then Juan says, hey, man, can I play? Yeah, sure. You don't say no.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. Who else?
Also, Cedric Dennis.
All right.
He is, he's from Vallejo.
Oh.
And I know he's a big, rock star up there at the Empress. And Cedric and I have been playing for years and years together. When I was making my first album, I brought him in to do some rhythm guitar, and I didn't know him. He was a recommendation. And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, oh, my God, yes, this is what I needed. So Cedric is an amazing player, just super funky and also a great guy.
Right on, Cedric.
Yes, Ed. And who else can I tell you about? Oh, Ben Burley will be playing bass with me. I discovered this guy. I shouldn't say discovered, like discovered, but I met.
There you are.
I launched.
I've been looking for you.
Yeah. No, we were doing a gig with Miles Shawn for a couple years, and that's when I met him, and he's from up in Cotati and hadn't really gotten down in this area musically so much, and I'm trying to introduce him to the Bay because he is just the funkiest bass player. Where Cotati?
And he's in Cotati.
Yeah, and oh my God, he's just amazing. And he's got he's kind of young, he's like in his early 20s, and so he's got that kind of young sensibility, and he's just like a lot of genres make sense to him, and it's a really nice addition to what I do.
Fresh legs on the bass.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's the core,
okay.
And there will be some other people sprinkled in there.
Some sit-ins.
No, horns.
Oh, cool.
And possibly some background vocals. Yeah, we're just working out all the fine details.
So, with a show like that, especially since you have a bass player coming from Cotati, how many times are you going to rehearse that band?
We'll probably rehearse twice for this show. All these guys have played this music before.
Yeah, everybody does their homework. Everybody knows the tunes.
Right. And we're just putting the show together.
Right.
That's what we need rehearsal for, is transitions and that type of thing. But the songs are not, new to my guys. They've either played them on an album or live. Would you mind if I read your bio? Because your bio is dope.
Sure. Yeah, it's stocked full of people that, Jesus.
So you were originally from Madison, Wisconsin. Let's start there.
Okay.
What brings you from Madison, Wisconsin to Berkeley?
Well, it's been a sort of roundabout way of getting here, but
Madison, by the way, is like the Berkeley of Wisconsin.
That's what I always say. Yeah, it is. I think that's why I feel so at home here.
Except for they have Butterburgers there.
That's true.
But they now have Butterburgers at. Well, I won't say it.
Oh, okay.
Not a sponsor of the show, whoever it is. No, where? Where do they have Butterburgers?
In the box.
Come on.
Oh, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. No, but they're trying to have, I don't eat meat, so I haven't tried it. But if I did, I would.
Do you eat frozen custard?
Yes.
Okay.
At Culver's.
Oh my God.
We can go to Culver's.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, yes, I grew up there in Madison. My mom was in grad school for most of my childhood, and that was a really great experience because we lived in student housing, which was this huge student housing complex they have. It's a big school, University of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it was for families, and most of the families in the housing were international. So my elementary school was International Day every day. And and it was awesome.
Where else do you get that in Wisconsin? Really?
Exactly. Yeah. So I lived in this amazing little enclave of Madison, and I had this really unique experience as a kid, and that was awesome. And then so when she became a professor, we moved to Maine, when she got her PhD, and then I went to high school there.
And what subject did she profess?
Psychology, which is really fun when you're a kid of a psychologist. Yes.
That's got to be
a
barrel of monkeys.
I was her guinea pig for sure.
Wow.
You're a narcissist.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Oh, I see.
See, it's all about you.
Yeah.
So, do you have any siblings?
I have a stepbrother and I have a half brother and sister who are little kids still.
Oh.
So I didn't grow up with a traditional type of sibling.
Right. So they weren't part of your Madison experience.
No.
And then you went to Maine. How long were you in Maine?
Just for junior high and high school.
Junior high, just for junior high and high school. Those are some
That's like a cool
formative
joke.
years.
I mean,
How was Maine? Where were you
cold.
in Maine?
It's cold. Well, Wisconsin isn't any better.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But at least you're near stuff. Like to go anywhere, you got to go run through New Hampshire, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're still not near anywhere.
Maine was a little bit of culture shock moving there because of this unique environment I grew up in, and then going to Maine, which was a lot less diverse.
Going to practically anywhere but here would have been that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But
Maine
is, I mean, it's beautiful and the people are really cool, and it was a nice place to go to high school because it was a small place. I could do all the stuff, like all the sports, all the plays, everything. Where it's in a bigger school, I think you kind of have to choose a little bit more, but it allowed me to do a lot of stuff. And
you could explore.
Yeah, and then I would spend the summers in New Jersey with my grandparents, so I got a little dose of something different in the summers.
That's a nice way to say that. Yeah. Did they live in a lovely part of New Jersey? Is there a lovely part of New Jersey?
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like the whole western side of the state is garden. They call it the Garden State because that's all like agricultural and it's kind of pretty.
Yeah.
But we were on the coast in a little town called Ocean Grove.
Okay.
And that's where I got my start really in music and performing.
How'd that happen?
Well, this little town was really set up for summer and kids to have stuff to do. And
it was a shore town.
It was a shore town, yep. And there were a lot of plays and musicals and stuff like that. And this big auditorium, it's a church, but it's this just giant like 10,000 seater. And that was my first stage. And we didn't have 10,000 people in there for our plays, but a couple thousand, and so would do these musicals and cabaret type of shows, and that's where I started singing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look at you now. Well, let's read about your further accomplishments. Okay. You were recently awarded Best R&B Song by the Billboard World Song Contest for your song "You Don't Scare Me." That's from your album "Real Good Fire."
Yeah. That was so exciting.
I bet.
I bet.
Yeah, I just got a call out of the blue one day from a friend of mine in Nashville who's a producer. He's like, you should, just enter a song in this thing. I'm like, all right. And then a couple months later, someone calls me from Billboard and they're singing my song to me. And I just thought it was a complete joke. Yeah. And he's like, you won Best R&B Song. I'm like, wow. So that was really, really awesome as a songwriter to get that kind of
any recognition like that, where someone takes time to sit down and evaluate other songs, and yours is picked.
It was amazing.
Huge compliment, yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun. They had an award show and everything, kind of like a mini Grammys, I guess, or something, And we all went to Branson, Missouri, the winners, and we all performed. And man, it was for all the different genres. I don't know, there was like maybe 10 or 12 for that particular contest, and there was so much talent. I mean, I felt really honored to be part of that. Yeah. Well,
your sophomore album, Love Again, was recently released and distributed by Sony Music. Mm-hmm. Get down.
Yeah. One of their sub companies under their umbrella called The Orchard.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it. They do digital distribution.
Now, here's what I love. Let's see. You've been over a decade. You've been a featured soloist at the world famous Glide Memorial Church.
Yes.
And everybody, by the time they click on this podcast, will have seen your picture. You are a white girl soloing at Glide.
Yeah.
Good gracious. And then you recently performed at the World Expo in Shanghai. You were on the Conan O'Brien show.
Yeah, Glide has been a really fun place to sing because we were just all over the place singing for all kinds of different stuff, all the sports teams and especially when Willie Brown was mayor.
Yeah.
We were his
band.
choir. Yeah, his band. So we were at everything. Super. Like we opened terminals at the airport, like all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, we went to Shanghai, and that was probably the most fun one, of course.
I got a shout out to Steve Souza, I was a DJ for a while, and he used to book me all the time, and he's just a great guy. And he had a DJ company in Vallejo and parts elsewhere. So he sent me out all over the place, but he's a big music fan, and he's just an aficionado of music. And if you saw him, he's a little white dude, but he is like, his favorite singer is James Brown, and he understands the funk in a way that you would never look at him and think, oh, you must be funky. You look at Levi and you go, yeah, that boy is funky. You look at Steve Souza and you go, man, I hope he does my taxes. But he just understands the funk, and he still hangs out in Vallejo, although he lives in Vacaville, but he still goes to Glide. And he had his children baptized at Glide. And it's all about the music. So you guys spread goodwill through music, and you're world famous for that. And it's for good reason. People come from far and wide.
Yeah. Well, it's a special place. There's just so much going on there. And so I remember the first time I went, like, I was overwhelmed by like this unconditional love. And just I've been in church my whole life, but I'd never been to a church like that where everyone was welcome and validated, and
everyone,
no matter what.
Yeah, so, no matter what your story is.
Right.
And even a white girl singing lead.
Yeah. I'm not the only white girl who sings there.
No, but you're the best one who's ever been on our podcast.
That's true.
Oh, thanks. Am I the only one?
Yeah. You're also the worst. So.
But we want to say that you have recorded with or shared stages with Stevie Wonder.
This. Yeah, big list.
Sheila E., Pete Escovedo, Lucinda Williams, Amy Mann, Taj Mahal, Michael Franti, Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers, Smash Mouth, Patty Austin, Ashford and Simpson, Catherine McPhee, Judith Hill, Tommy Castro, Levi Caesar, Nelson Braxton, Lydia Pence, and Cold Blood.
That's a
Holy
list.
smoke, that is a list.
Yeah, I mean,
You've been taking advantage of opportunities.
Yeah.
And, it's the old saying, luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
So, right on.
Well, I've just been fortunate to be a part of a lot of groups, and from Glide to singing for other artists, and, it's brought me to some really fun places, and been able to, when we sang for Stevie, we were actually singing at Robin Williams Memorial, which was it was the private one for his, sort of extended family, and it was such a beautiful service, and we got to sing behind Stevie, and gosh, what a day! I mean,
can you sing when you're crying? Because I'd be crying.
It was. I mean, I had goosebumps, like the whole thing, and just.
Well, we're just capturing audio. We're not capturing video, but you're welling up now.
Sorry. It was very special. It was just very powerful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
If you like the show,
and you know you do, support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
visit our website,
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show. Tell us about some of the other highlights.
So I got to be part of Lydia Pence's last album, just singing some backgrounds, and she's a hero of mine. She's been around for so long, and she's just still as funky as she ever was, amazingly, just still kicking. Like, this is completely unrelated, but I was at the Grammys last weekend, and AC/DC was, I don't know if you guys watched it.
We did.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
AC/DC
rock the
killed
house.
it.
Yeah.
Man, that was so nice to see.
I mean, they sounded exactly like they have.
They did. They
in
sounded
their-
great.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so powerful. And what I found really even more powerful than how they sounded was that there were like no bells and whistles. There was very minimal show stuff.
There's not supposed to be. AC/DC's just barely, it's plugged in, it's turned up.
Yeah.
And they got a 68-year-old drummer, and he beats it. You know, those guys go do it.
Yeah.
Chris Slade is 68 years old.
Just swing.
Yeah.
And none of them are spring chickens. And
No.
you see Angus up there in his little shorts, and he's running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a wall of marshals and then 5 guys
Yeah.
killing it. And then you have this room full of people with these like really elaborate shows and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think anyone made the kind of impact that they did at the beginning of that show. And I just thought it was a nice way to start, to be like, hey, everybody, just play some good music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was great.
We had the same comment about it. It was a great opening.
Yeah.
And it was all about the music because they don't have anything to hide behind. There's no pyrotechnics. Well, there was a little bit of pyrotechnics.
Was there?
I don't know.
A little bit?
There was a little bit of lighting.
But it wasn't
But it wasn't
all,
over the
like,
top.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't depend on it.
It was awesome. And I think everyone felt it.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Well,
That was a tangent. Sorry.
No,
that's okay.
We like tangents here.
What else did you see there that you liked?
On the Grammys?
Yeah.
There was a country singer named Brandy. I wish I could remember her last name. Brandy Clark. She did a performance sort of in that middle circle thing. And I really like the song. I really love good songwriting.
Yeah.
And it was a song, like this would be a good time to hold my hand or something like that. I just thought it was really clever the way it was put together.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. It wasn't high impact, but it was a good song. You know, I really like that.
Well, while you're thinking about
Yeah.
it, let me go back to your list for a minute.
Okay.
Because I love Amy Mann.
Amy Mann, I've loved her since Till Tuesday. Yeah, I love Amy Mann. And the time I got to perform with her, I was singing backgrounds for this thing called the Best Fest. And that one was a petty fest. It's these guys, all these guys from LA, I think, and all these different touring musicians, and they get together and they do this thing called the Best Fest. And it's a wildly popular thing where they take an artist like Tom Petty, and then they take 30 Tom Petty songs and they get 30 random celebrities and singers and people to do those songs.
That's awesome.
And then perform the whole thing. It's this crazy thing. And then it was at the Fillmore. It was awesome. And just totally packed out. And I was singing backgrounds. And it was one of the actually background gigs I enjoyed the most because learning all those Tom Petty songs never became like...
You sang background for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Like each artist came
We
up
did,
and
like,
you were the
We
you
did
were the
35
anchor.
songs, yeah,
Wow.
of Tom Petty. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
How do you like Tom Petty as a songwriter?
Now I have a new appreciation for him.
Were you familiar with his body of work?
Yes, I knew all those songs already.
Sure.
Just in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But I never really I think Tom Petty is somewhat in our subconscious, unless you're a big fan. You know, like you know the songs, but you don't really think about it that much.
Right.
And that was me. And then
But
after
you learn them and you learn them at show speed, so to speak.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was like, sometimes it can be a little tedious to learn that much stuff if it's not something you like that much or whatever, but
Yeah.
you do it but this one it was great.
And what tune did Amy Mann do?
I know I can't remember anymore. But
Because she's bad.
yeah, she's great.
People don't realize how bad she is. She's bad.
Lucinda Williams was on that same gig.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was amazing.
Who
I
did
really-
Breakdown? That's what I want to know. That's my favorite Tom Petty song.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a couple years ago, so
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
You've sang 22,000 songs
Yeah.
since then.
yeah.
You've got 35 songs to learn, but you're singing backup, and there may or may not be backup singers on the recording. So, does someone sit down with you guys and go through what it is? Do they annotate it? Do you have notes? How do you not
Yeah.
get lost in 35 songs?
Well, in this case, there actually are background vocals, pretty clear background vocals on all of those songs. And so in that situation, I wasn't exactly sure who was going to be singing what, which is often the case when you get hired for a gig like that. So I learned all the parts. And then I know that Like, we get in there and there's always going to be somebody who's like, oh, well, I learned the soprano part, so that's what I'm going to sing. Like, okay, then I know the other parts. So
Yeah.
I'll just get in where I fit in. That's
Right.
kind of how I like to do it. And then also I just know all the other parts. So I know, like, you know.
Where are you most comfortable?
Soprano, usually. I have a higher range.
Yeah.
But I can do alto as long as it doesn't get too low.
Yeah.
I like alto because it's more of a harmony, you know, and that is more challenging.
It
and
is more
fun.
challenging.
Yeah.
In the arrangement, it's usually not the melody. And it seems like you have a voice where you're right there and you can go in either direction because you do have a nice round.
For me, it's just a high range isn't too much of a problem, but low is. So there is a point where I just can't go any lower, and so that gets me in trouble sometimes. With songs, I have to change the key of songs sometimes because I can't sing low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll confide that I just had to stop myself from saying, you have a nice round bottom when I was referring to your voice.
I'm not going to comment on that.
As it is. You know, when I said, hey, Pete, I talked to Leah Tysse and she said she'd do our show. And he said, who is that? And I said, you know, she's the girl with the Cadillac booty.
Did you really?
I said
did.
that. That's
He
how,
did.
yes.
Oh my God.
That's how you
and then were you
remember it
able to
because-
remember me now?
Yes.
When the day that we met Dwayne was the day that we met you. And you guys were singing that song. Do you remember that?
Okay, now, yeah.
So here's how it happened. We went there that day to meet with Dwayne because we wanted to do a podcast with Dwayne. And we wanted to do podcasts at Dwayne's place. And he had mentioned to our friend Jeff Anderson that, yeah, man, I'd be interested in meeting those guys because if people are doing podcasts here, there'll be a bit greater familiarity with Mindseed and stuff like that. So, we do things like, when I reached out to you, I said we could do it at Dwayne's. So we went there and we met him for the first time, and it was a great meeting. And I was, really excited to meet him. I've been a big fan of Dwayne's for a long time. And then at the end of the meeting, he said, well, what are you guys doing later? Because there's going to be a rehearsal here. And Levi Caesar is going to be here. Do you guys know Levi? And I was like, no, but I want to meet Levi. So he goes, well, come back in an hour, and he'll be here. So I thought, okay, well, that's great. So we went and got a bite to eat. We came back, and we were standing in the room, and you guys were tuning up and getting ready, whatever. Didn't want to be in the way, so we were just standing back. Then I saw Juan. And Juan and I played a gig together years and years ago. I stepped away from the drums for many years. I didn't play drums for a long, long time. But back when I was playing the drums, I had a gig that I played with Juan and Sandra. And I looked over and I saw him and I went, oh, that's Juan. So he walked by and I said, hey, Juan. And he looked up, and so I just said, hey, man, how you been? And we had a little reunion. And then the drummer, I guess, who was playing with you guys was caught in traffic or whatever, and you wanted to get started. And Juan looked over and went, hey, where are the drums? And I looked over and I went, holy shit, I haven't played the drums in 15 years. Okay. And I got up and played the drums. So to you guys, it was just like, yeah, he'll fill in until the drummer gets. But for me, that was the first time I played the drums in 15 years.
Wow.
And I found myself looking over the front of the kit going, holy shit, that's Levi Caesar right there.
Yeah. I'm playing with
That's Levi Caesar, and I get to play with him.
Yeah.
But so then, that was the song that you guys were doing. And you had that little dance number when the lyric was, she got a booty like a cattle, and you did some move and she was pointing at your booty. So that's how I said, Pete, it's Leah. She's the girl with the Cadillac booty.
Oh, that's funny.
So I couldn't also say, well, you have a nice round butt, because that's too much. So I
That
held
was,
back.
that was a long aside.
That
there.
was a long aside. I'm cutting that whole thing out. Anyway.
I think you should keep it.
Okay. Well, maybe. So, getting back to your long and impressive resume.
I have a question. So when you get that gig to play Robin Williams' memorial, how does that go? Does your agent call you and say, hey, there's a thing? Or
This was with Glide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was the Glide, a version of the Glide choir.
Okay.
How about Michael Franti?
Yeah, that was amazing. On my birthday one year, I got to do a duet with him.
You got to be kidding.
And it was like the best birthday ever.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's so great. He's so cool. He's just so...
Tall.
He's tall and he's just such a nice guy and he's so gracious. He's just like, doing whatever, kind of ad-libbing at the end. And he's just like, yeah, like all encouraging. So that was pretty
He is
awesome.
a sweet, sweet guy, isn't he?
He really is.
I remember the first time I saw Michael Franti was in 1988, maybe, 87. And it was him and Charlie Hunter, and it was before Disposable Heroes. It was just the two of them, and they walked out on stage, and they opened for Living Color. And it was just him, he rapped, and Charlie Hunter played guitar like Charlie Hunter plays guitar. And the two of them carried the audience on a musical journey for 45 minutes. And it was amazing. And from that moment, I was a fan of Michael Franti, and I was a fan of Charlie Hunter, and I would follow everything that the two of them would do. Still. And now my wife loves him, and she loves yoga, and, he's all about the yoga. And he hasn't worn shoes in like 11 months.
More than that. It's been like years,
Has
right?
it been years?
Yeah, he doesn't wear shoes.
He doesn't wear shoes.
I don't know how he gets away with that.
I don't either. Where can you not?
I mean, can you go
guess
on
I
an
can.
airplane? You can't go on an airplane, can you?
I suppose you can.
I think you can, yeah.
You can?
I mean,
Why
they
not?
make you
Yeah.
take off your shoes to go through the TSA.
Just don't
thing.
put 'em back
Just
on.
Don't put them back on. Yeah. He's like, I don't have any shoes to take off.
Yeah.
That bin with the stuff in it, that's not my bin. I
My
don't have
feet
any
would be
shoes.
cold. That would be my issue.
Me too. I have tender feet also.
Tender.
Yeah. I can't, I don't go camping. You got to stand outside with your feet. I'm not doing that. But I love Michael Franti.
Yes.
And he just seems like he's gotten so sweet. When back then, he was really angry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know him then, but I know, like, of knowing the music.
Yeah.
You can sense that more. I don't know. Who knows?
We all went through our angry.
Yeah,
The
I'm
world.
mad as hell.
And now,
It's all
I
about
just like
love.
to kiss babies and stuff. So I can see where he is in his life.
Yeah, and he's got, he had some kids. Maybe that made him.
That softened you right up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Took off his shoes.
So who's
Boy, did he
out there
take
that you
off
want to
his
work
shoes.
with? Who's out there that you like? I would love to work with, and I know everybody, but is there anybody out there you're just like it would blow my mind?
Yeah, D'Angelo.
Oh, seriously.
He would love to. We're same boat. We would love to have him on the show.
Oh,
It would
yeah.
blow our minds.
Yeah, that would be amazing. He's just so high on my list of favorites, and I just love what he does, and we're obviously really different singers, but man, I would love that.
He's so different in every way. I mean, when you listen to his records, to me, being a drummer, the snare is always so far behind the beat with him, and it's so just disorienting, and it's weird, and it's just weird enough that you just I can't let it won't leave you. and he's an amazing singer.
Yeah.
Who else is on the list?
Oh wow.
D'Angelo. That's a great first one.
Yeah, of current people. Let me see.
Of any people.
Of any people. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Of course, I'd love to do something with Stevie.
Yeah.
He's my
He's Stevie Wonder.
guy. Yeah.
I used to work at Mix Magazine, and I worked with a guy at Mix who knew Stevie, and he said that he spun this tale one time about how Stevie was so in tune with all of the other senses that he had that he often could know who was in a room because he paid attention to so many other things. And like one time they were on their way to, as he told the story, they were on their way to Ocean Way in Los Angeles. And Stevie told the limo driver, "You missed the turn," at one point. And he said, "Stevie, how did you know that?" And he said, I can hear there was a pothole that we went over, and then we turned right, and we went over that pothole, and we didn't turn right. And it's just little things like that
Right.
that we totally miss. So I can only imagine what he's going to tell you about the nuances in your voice when you're working with him, and he says, "Wait a minute."
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Also, Layla Hathaway.
Ooh.
I would love to just be able to talk with her about voice for a little while. I mean, she's my favorite female vocalist.
Wow.
And singing with her would be pretty darn intimidating, but I would love to learn from her.
That would be cool. Well, hey, we better button up because you have a thing. So
any other?
there's a couple things we want to do.
questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, how does everybody follow you? What's your Twitter handle?
It's just Leah Tysse. Everything, my Facebook, all that is Leah Tysse, which is LeahTysse.
And we're going to link everything on our show page. So if you guys go to the show page, you can just click on stuff. We're also going to and I imagine that this benefit that you're doing at the Empress is going to be on the Empress website as well.
It is, yeah. You can buy tickets there already.
Sweet.
And
That is Saturday, March 21st at 8 o'clock. And it's at the Empress Theatre in Vallejo at 330 Virginia Street. It's a fundraiser for the Glide Memorial Program for Homelessness. So get your tickets and get good seats because that theater is terrific and the sound there is amazing and you're going to love Leah.
yeah, I can't emphasize enough too how great a venue this is. It's such a beautiful room. And Vallejo, I think it's also fun to kind of introduce people to Vallejo because I think a lot of people haven't been there or have an impression of it that's not so favorable, but it's actually a cool little town and the waterfront is beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's a cool place and this is right in the downtown. There's a big huge parking lot that's free across the street. I know people from the city like to hear that. And it's not that far, and it's kind of a fun little adventure. And
It's really not. From the city, it's a half hour.
Yeah.
Maybe 35 minutes. From Berkeley, it's a half hour.
Yeah.
So, it's easy to get to. The venue is easy to get to. You take the Georgia Street exit and just ride down Georgia Street, head west till you hit the water.
Yep.
And Virginia Street is 1 block over parallel to, maybe 2 blocks over parallel to Georgia Street. But your GPS will get you there, and there is a big, beautiful parking lot. Mm-hmm. There's food right there.
Mm-hmm. There's restaurants all around there.
Yeah. And you're right. It is a little gem of the Bay Area that I wish more people knew about.
Yeah.
I grew up in Vallejo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm from Vallejo.
That's why he has to give directions.
Vallejo, yeah.
Nice.
So everybody should go, and the Empress is wonderful. We used to watch movies there when I was a kid because it was
fun.
like the rundown dollar movie theater. And they took that place and polished it to its original luster.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. Yeah, the people that restored it and are making it continuously run are just believe so much in that place and trying to bring life back to downtown Vallejo, and it's just the coolest thing. So it's fun to support that.
Yeah, it is. And it's fun to support Glide, so come on in.
Yeah.
And if you want to support Leah Tysse, you can always buy her album, which will be attached and link right there by the show itself. So click on there and pick up her album.
Links to everything on the show page. So
Yay.
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right.